Unicorns, man.
Fuck those unicorns.
Exactly. I'm pinch hitting tonight, and I'll be reading 3 shorts, so if you don't like one of them, maybe you'll like one of the others. First one is Rooftop Dreams. She kept dreams in a rooftop pigeon coop. She was a beautiful girl, and I didn't mind her strange hobby. I even saw them up there a few times. She said the fact that I could see them made me special, that others either could not or would not acknowledge them. They were winged things, flittering little balls of light inside their chicken wire cages. The last time she took me to see them, she wore a floral summer dress and carried a shotgun slung across her right shoulder. It was just after a sun shower, and heat charmed snaking plumes of steam up from the roof. She asked me to open the coop and set them free. I told her I didn't like the gun. In response, she said all sacrifice is a lesson in love. So I released them one by one to take flight, while she filled the sky with gunshots and laughter. Vices. This is the second. Vices. She waddles out of the grocery store. Her swollen stomach peeks out from beneath a black tank top. Her arms flex from a 12-pack of Milwaukee's Best in each hand. My friend Jacob would love her. He has a thing for pregnant chicks. We discussed this once, and he tried rationalizing it by saying it's evolutionary. I called bullshit. There is no biological imperative to screw a pregnant woman. Wow. Either way, he'd split one of those 12-packs with her. He'd say his mother drank when she was pregnant, and he turned out okay. Then he'd slowly roll back her dark top to birth the moon of that belly. He'd scale its stretched skin with the tip of his tongue. She'd see all that life inside her, surging up through his outstretched tongue, and glazing his eyes and curling his toes. And she'd know that nobody ever found her more beautiful than he did at that exact moment. I'd like to introduce them, but instead, I roll down my window and tell her she should buy better beer. People are more tolerant of your vices when your taste is discriminating.
Wow.
And lastly, goodbye, Winona. She'd left me a note on the kitchen counter. Neatly printed on a sheet of yellow-lined paper, it read, "This isn't working. I've moved back home. Goodbye, Winona." Below her name stretched a ladder of blank lines, and finally a red lipstick kiss. I tapped the note twice and nodded. I went to the fridge and grabbed a beer. I twisted off the cap and dropped it on the linoleum where it bounced and warbled. I read the note again, said to myself, figures. I balled the paper in my fist, and it crackled like a tiny fire. Figures? Said Winona. I gave a start at the surprise of her voice, spun to face her. She leaned against the entrance to the kitchen. She'd reapplied her lipstick. Her blouse was red silk, and her breasts swelled against the dip of its neckline. I'd never seen the top before. Thought you were gone, I said. I changed my mind. Are you staying? I set my beer on the counter, dropped the note beside it. Or is this goodbye? Is that it? Her head trembled in shallow side-to-side movements. Is that all you have to say? Don't know what else you'd expect. That's the problem. The silence scares me. Anger and despair, I get that. But the quiet is just so fucking... Her hands flittered about like doves. Her pumps shuffled backwards and she turned to leave. She was beautiful in her going. She didn't look to see, but my eyes followed. The hushed devotion of a flower tracking the sun. I imagined pop music thumping from the radio inside her car. She'd have the windows down, wind snapping at her ears and coaxing a dance from her hair. She'd lean into that swarm of noise until it drowned out everything. She'd slap the wheel, the dash, she'd almost certainly laugh. Thank you.